Collective.
It's not that I dislike Ovechkin or dislike Ovechkin breaking this record. It's just, it's hard to fully appreciate what he's doing because of the Crosby Ovechkin rivalry. We have a much more disdain towards Ovechkin.
Sure.
Because of it, first off. And then secondly, I don't like that he just sits there in his spot.
No, you're not
fires
wrong.
away. And then on top of it, throughout his career, he cherry picks empty netters.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's true.
So that's another thing. So how many of those empty netters could have easily been to someone else? And I understand there have been moments where he passes up empty netters to give other guys, chances at, hat tricks, first career points, whatever. Hey,
Sure.
I get it. He's still a captain. He deserves that C. He's that guy. I get it. But at the same time, he cherry picks those empty netters. Like, let's call a spade here. It's what he does.
But see, I'm trying not to be biased because I don't clearly. I think I'm in the majority saying that Sidney Crosby is a better hockey player than Alexander Ovechkin. I think everyone says that. No one disagrees with that statement. Now, if you say goal scorer, yeah, Ovechkin, because all he does is score goals. Look at his assists. Like, I think he has 12 assists in his career. Like, it's really not.
But can you actually say he is a goal scorer when he's got one trick?
Yeah, because it's so good that no one could stop it.
All right, fair enough.
That's the only thing.
That's a valid argument. That's a valid argument.
Because
I immediately concede.
Because if you're a coach going into this game and you're playing Ovechkin, wouldn't you be like, guys, I want two of you on the hash marks?
Yeah,
I want you to go and hit him because he's going to be standing still. It's not like he's getting out of your way. Just go hit him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he could continuously score from that one spot, as you're saying, is so dumb. It's so dumb. Imagine if a wide receiver runs the same route every time and just beats his guy, no matter who he's playing with. You're going to say he's a one-trick pony, but he's so good on that route.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
it's the same frustrations I have with the Philadelphia Eagles and the tush push.
Yeah. They're so good at the tush push
People
are willing to ban it because they're so mad that one team does it incredibly well. Now,
I'm upset about that play, but I mean, at the same time, you got to stop it. You can just get some big boys on defense.
What I heard was a great argument to the tush push, where on defense, you're not allowed to push a player into another player. Defensively, it's an NFL rule. So, if you're trying to stop the tush push, you're not allowed to do the exact thing on defense because it's a safety issue.
I didn't know that.
It's a rule.
Wait, hold on here. I didn't know that.
So they said there was this guy. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer player. And he was on a podcast telling him his issue with the tush push. And I think he was a defensive player. And he said, defense, you're not allowed to do the tush push to stop a run. You're not allowed to have your biggest guy go through the middle and you shove him behind. You're not allowed to do that. So he said, if that's a safety concern, why isn't the tush push a safety concern? Yeah. And that should be banned because he was saying that the league is an offensive. You can do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. But he said, if that is banned on defense because of a quote-unquote safety issue, then why on earth would you allow the offense to do the same thing because it gets a first down and it's offense? So
I didn't know that. And I wholeheartedly agree, and at least that aspect of it should be removed.
So that is where I was. That when I saw that, I was watching it on my phone, and I saw that clip of the podcast, and I said, that is the greatest argument to the tush push I've ever seen. Because at first, I was on the same mind as you. hey, Eagles do it better than everyone. You can't punish them for knowing it. But then I was like, oh, there's a rule issue against the defense allowing them to do that? Yeah, ban it. You can't, and it has nothing to do with the Eagles. It has everything to do with the NFL setting up themselves to ban that one rule. So that's the one thing. So anyway,
it's true.
Back to Alexander Ovechkin, Josh. He is shooting and scoring from the same spot, but if defenses can't stop it, it does go ahead and tell you how dominant he is from that spot. Goalies just need to do better going east to west and trying to snag that puck out of the air.
That's fair.
Because from what I've seen from a lot of Josh, we're Penguins fans. We've seen him score on us a lot. We know that puck goes high and tight. So it's goalies are sliding and going, oh, okay, yep, missed it. It just goes right there. Goalies need to be better and defenses need to be better. But yeah, do I think he's a little overrated? 1,000%. Like I'm not going to hide my feelings there. I think he is an overrated hockey player. Yes, he is a one-trick pony. Does he do it better than everyone else? 100%. But I think he's overrated. I think he's not a good skater, especially in his latter part of his career. Josh, we were watching his tying game tonight together right before we started recording. And we were watching him. And we're like, the dude's not even skating. Like, he's just gliding. He does what I do in beer league. So it's like, and you're like, hey, if Sidney Crosby is still skating 200 feet today, we were watching him against St. Louis. Josh, hunting down guys. The only one back checking. The only
puck battles on the board.
Puck battles on the boards. He's the one attacking guys with the pucks on a forecheck. And no one talks about it. And here he is constantly competing. The season's over for him. But yeah, he's still battling. Ovechkin, the season is not done for him. He is going to the playoffs. And he is not even trying. That just goes to show you who's a better hockey player by itself. Okay? And if you come, all you keyboard warriors and Tom Wilson defenders, you guys coming into my chat going, oh, no, actually, if you do this, and that's what you sound like, by the way. If you're going to put that in my chat, just know you're going to be arguing with a brick wall. Sidney Crosby is a better hockey player, 10 out of 10, than Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah, and that's
better goal scorer,
we
better passing. Yeah. No. I know. I'm not talking with you. I'm talking with the people watching. I'm saying Sidney Crosby's a better hockey player. Argue against the wall. Even an interview with Wayne Gretzky at the Capitals game. They said, wow, isn't this incredible? And Wayne Gretzky goes, yeah. When guys like Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin come in, first of all, he mentioned Sid first, which we all know when Wayne Gretzky talks about Sidney Crosby, he always says he is the embodiment of the National Hockey League. He represents the league well. He's a great human being and probably arguably the greatest hockey player of all time. Also, he says Mario Lemieux was better than him. Just saying.
Himself.
Yeah. Better than Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. Wayne Gretzky says that Mario Lemieux was better than him and was the greatest hockey player of all time. And now we have Mario Lemieux and Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
It's good to be a Penguins fan. Congratulations, Ovechkin. By this time this episode comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just clarify one thing? I just want to say, because like you said, these keyboard warriors from Washington, if they ever stumble upon this episode and want to watch us and start roasting us in the comments, just want to clarify. When I say one-trick pony, I understand that it has been, the last 5 to 10 years of his career, the back 9 of his career that he's done this, of just staying in the hash mark, side circle. Okay? Yeah. I understand it was only a part of his game when he first came into the league. One of his most famous goals is what, Lewis?
Oh, the back goal? That was wild. But that was his first year. But continue.
Understood. But that's what I'm saying. He had other elements to his game. It
Sure.
wasn't just the slapper from the circle. So
He
I
won
do want
Rookie
to
of
put
the
that
Year
out there.
against Sid.
I do want to put that out there. Just saying, I understand that he had other elements to his game, but those other elements of the game were gone. And he just
Sure.
decided to just say, I'm just going to camp here for as long
Sure.
as I can. And that's why I think he is a one-trick pony now. And
Josh,
that's why...
Don't apologize to these red, white, and blue fans, okay? Don't apologize. Speak your mind and tell them to buzz off and tell them, guess what? Sid, better than Ovechkin. Go cry about it. Because guess what? When Crosby's still playing 5 years from now and you're wishing you had Ovechkin, enjoy the run now. Enjoy it now. You guys are going to the playoffs. You got this buzz with Ovechkin scoring the goals. Hey, just wait. Maybe your future is good. Maybe it's not. Guess what? Who cares? We're going to be winning the Stanley Cup when you guys crying when we got Mitch Marner and we have Murashov in net, and you're going to be like, man, we can't score in the Penguins anymore. And we're like, yeah. And Sid's still playing, by the way. Sid is still playing. He's going to be like 45, still dominating. Ovechkin is going to gain 50 pounds, and he's going to be chilling out in Russia, never looking back at Yugins, okay? You guys, all right? Anyway, I don't really mean all that, what I just said, but it's just, I want you to know that's how I feel in the moment. Anyway, Josh, hey, Ovechkin, you're a generational talent. You're a Hall of Famer. Congratulations on scoring a lot of goals from one spot. No, maybe.
I think so.
Top 10 all time? No, because he could only score goals. Say what you will about Bobby Orr. He was a dominant player. Say what you will about, like, Rocket Richard, I feel is better than Alexander Ovechkin, and he's not even top 10. I mean, now here's the thing. Here's when I argue. People say top 10. I go, yeah, but are we talking goalies? Because, like, I could put 2 goalies in the top 10.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's true. I feel like you have
Do you know
to
what I'm saying?
them.
Yeah, Martin
But at the
Brodeur,
same
Patrick
time,
Wall.
like, it's so hard. Everything has changed so much. Like, I understand just the game of hockey has changed so much, but like I feel like goaltending is like of itself has changed drastically just in 20 years, like 25 years. Just like you go back to year 2000, okay?
Yeah.
And you look at goaltending then and you look at it now. It changed drastically.
It was rough.
So then you go back 50 years, same thing. Just go 50 years to 25 years ago. So drastic.
And with that, Josh, Wayne Gretzky kind of stinks. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, Josh,
here we go again.
The goalies. No, because you're right. That was my biggest argument. Hockey is so unique in this sport. And if you hear anything in this podcast, listen to this, okay? Hockey is the only sport where the dynamic of the scoring has changed drastically in their time.
Basketball.
No, Josh. 9 feet's 9 feet. It's always been there. Whatever. Who cares, Josh? It's not like I can reach it anyway.
But it originally started as just laying it up, and then a jumper was implemented.
No, they changed the way they scored. The way they scored.
Oh, okay.
The dynamic of actually scoring has changed drastically. 100 yards for football has always been the 100 yards. Soccer, the goals have always been the same size. I'm sure someone will correct me if that changed. But what I'm saying is,
it's changed. Yeah.
Listen, soccer, I feel like it's easier to score than they're making it out to be. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Like, I'm watching
baseball,
these grown...
Stadiums have gotten bigger.
Sure. But you know what I'm saying? That's a weird topic because I saw a comedian do a sketch on this where baseball is the only sport where they could change the outcome because they're like, oh, Boston, we're going to put up a huge green wall. Good luck trying to hit a home run off that. And it's just like they're allowed to do that. No one argues with them. But everywhere else, you know, like the Yankees, they have like a very short home run field. No wonder why they win.
Right field, short porch.
But then they said Colorado has like the furthest one back of like whatever amount, like 460 something yards or feet. And yeah, 465 yards would be that would be impossible. But 480 something feet, and they're like, no wonder why they haven't won anything. You know, it's just stuff like it's like that was the comedy bit. I'm not doing it justice. But yes, baseball's a little awkward. But the diamond, Josh, running from first to second, was it 90 feet?
It's gotten bigger.
What is it
It
now?
was shorter.
I thought it was always
I don't
90
know.
feet.
But it was shorter before.
Sure. Okay. So maybe baseball's included in this conversation. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I'll give it a pass. But hockey, the goal maybe has not changed the size. But the goaltending, the guy in front of it, has changed. There was a time where you could just sauce it, and that puck is going in just because you have a certain angle on the goalie. Watch the first couple years of Wayne Gretzky's highlights. Deke, puck's in. And I'm like, oh, he didn't even touch it. He didn't even touch it at the end, Josh. He came into the zone, 2 dekes, goalie was already on the ground. And the puck is, because they treated it like soccer, where they would face you, and then they would try to shuffle, and they would, do, that's how they play. Then the butterfly, a butterfly got introduced, butterfly style, and then all of a sudden people are like, yeah, that ain't working anymore. Now you got to lift the puck. And then they decided to breed Russians that are, Goliath size, and they said, you're going to be a hockey goalie. And now, when they're on their knees, their head is above the post.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to score on that. And then you have Vasilevsky, the most recent, glove behind his back. Good luck trying to score on that. It is just like you have to get creative to score. And the only one who has been dominant in all eras, I would say, is Sidney Crosby. When he first came into the league, he still had people like Martin Brodeur, it was either you're either a stand-up or you're a butterfly goaltender. That was when he came into the league. Now it's all butterfly. It's all butterfly. No one's stopped. It's a hybrid, but no one's doing stand-up saves anymore, Josh. Everyone goes down. Everyone drops. No one stands there and kicks the puck away like Martin Brodeur. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, watch him like when he played for St. Louis that one year, his last year. He kicked the puck away with his pad. I'm like, you'll never see that ever again. You'll never see a goaltender do that because they're not trained to do that. Sidney Crosby has faced all of that. Anyway, the game has changed so drastically from goaltending, from conception to now, that is, the guys who were dominant, like the Orrs, the Gordie Howes, Wayne Gretzky, and Mario Lemieux. I'm taking Lemieux as well, guys. Would they be as dominant today? The answer is no. They wouldn't be. Because they've never seen a human that big when they're going against Tampa, against Vasilevsky. Also, don't forget, these guys were smoking in the locker rooms and drinking beers in the locker room as well.
The counter argument is that you would hope that their greatness would force them to adjust and would learn to play a different style. And that's what makes today's greats different from the rest of the pack. Because if you don't adjust, if you don't change, if you don't learn a different style, you are literally just an average player. But if you can develop something different, get better every year, that's what makes you great. And that's why I'm not saying that I disagree with you.
No, I know.
I'm just saying the counter argument is that maybe they would have figured it out because of their greatness.
No, and I hear that argument. That's usually the argument I get back when I give this hot take, which is always a hot take when we have guests on. I always say Wayne Gretzky would not be a good hockey player today. And they go, whoa, that's a hot, obviously they go, that's crazy. And then they usually give that response. His greatness would transcend into today's era. And I'll say, really? Have you seen the footage? Blake Lizotte would be like a rocket if you picked him up currently
Yeah, sure.
and dropped him in the 80s. He would be the greatest hockey player of all time because he is flying out there, hitting the body and moving on. Okay? Back then, you hit your check and you stayed there for a little bit. You lingered. You lingered because you didn't know what was going to happen. And you're creating space. Well, that back then, you were allowed to hit. Like, interference wasn't really a thing. So, like, you could go hit a guy and then you could skate into the zone. And with the help of Josh, Jay Caulfield, who was on our podcast, who let us know that back then you couldn't really just enter in the zone like they do now because they'd be killing you. They would be hitting you when you come into the zone, so it's a little bit different. But if you're super fast, like Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Blake Lizotte isn't in that category. I'm just taking Blake Lizotte because he's on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Take Blake Lizotte. He's too fast for these guys to hit him. And then I think that's what happened. Anyway, Josh, I'm getting on a rant, but what I want to say is the game has changed so much. Wayne Gretzky probably would be a fourth liner. A fourth liner in the National Hockey League.
I'm not getting into this with you tonight. We'll save it for another episode.
I'm just saying. You cannot. Look at the footage. Now, listen. I'm not saying that if like Wayne Gretzky was born in this era and he had all the resources that Crosby had. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you just literally pick him up from his era, from the 70s and 80s, and that's pretty much it, the 90s.
Well, yeah, because that style is different. He's not going to play that way.
No, I know. That's my argument about how hockey has changed so drastically. There's no other sport that's changed that drastically. Because, hockey, you would glide. They would never even think about lifting the puck. Gordie Howe, all these guys. It would be a chance that the puck got on an edge and he was like, whoa, bar down. Holy crap. Now these guys are like, I could bar down from center ice. Give me the puck. And the guys would blow their mind if Gordie Howe was like, there's no way you could go bar down from the center ice. Not with that piece of lumber. And they're like, oh, this is a composite stick? It's lighter than your hat. I could do anything. These gloves, they're lighter than anything you could think of. They had leather gloves when wet, probably was 20 pounds each on their hands. They're like, the eras are completely different. So that's the reason why I'm saying, like Gordie Howe, would he even make a roster, Josh?
Okay, let's move on.
Josh, okay.
Let's move on.
I think it's a fair argument, and if you disagree, Josh,
it's not. We will talk about it another time.
And hold on, and if you guys disagree, put a comment in below. Where do you?
They'll be full.
Yeah,
they'll be full.
Yeah, we'll get a message. I can't believe you would say that about Wayne Gretzky. He's the greatest hockey player of all time. Gordie Howe would definitely compete in today's era. Martin Brodeur was a generational talent.
Yeah,
I mean, he is. I agree with you. I think he's the greatest goaltender of all time. But Josh, can we talk about a generational talent for us?
The only generational talent.
Way better than Ovechkin, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sidney Crosby has surpassed Wayne Gretzky for 20 point per game seasons. Josh, I need a better reaction. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to do that one more time. And this is going to stay in the podcast. People need to know you need to be a little more excited. Okay.
Hey, I'm ready. I was allowing you time to, just do your thing here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sidney Crosby has surpassed Wayne Gretzky for 20 point per game seasons.
Heck yeah. Heck
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, hey.
Like, but I mean, at the same time, like, to be honest, coming into this year, barring injury, we knew it was going to happen. Okay,
Yeah,
this was inevitable, and it just goes. It just fits Sidney Crosby. You know, Mr. Consistency. It's just who he is. Shows up, does the job, hates losing, doesn't care if he gets 6 points in the game. If we didn't win, he doesn't care. Like, it's just that type of guy, that type of mentality.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I'm glad he's playing next year because now let's just chalk it up 21, baby. Barring injury, 21. Okay?
I think he could, yeah.
Absolutely he could. Absolutely he could. And, you know, I don't know if this is a hot take, maybe to Penguins fans, but I don't think this record is as significant as the goal scoring, and I think that's why a lot of media hasn't covered it, but I do take offense if no one else will. I will. That no one has covered this. You know, the only thing that I have seen is that there's like one clip from NHL Network that's going around. I don't know the gentleman's name, but he's an analyst there, and they're talking about the 20-point per game record,
right?
And I'm sorry, 20 season point per game record.
Yeah, and
he said that he puts Crosby on his Mount Rushmore. That by doing that, he is there on hockey's Mount Rushmore, and other people on the panel were a little taken back, but at the same time, it's like he's not wrong. He's not wrong. You know, because like at the end of the day, it's the Hockey Hall of Fame, and these guys, the Olympics count. These, you know, international games count.
Sure.
And when you stack up international play on top of NHL career, there's none other like Sidney Crosby. The way that he carries that team. What was it in Four Nations before USA beat Canada? They were 26-0 when Crosby puts on that maple leaf for Team Canada.
Yeah.
26-0. That's disgusting.
What leadership by that
guy. I mean, granted, that also just goes to show you the all-star caliber talent that Canada can produce every international, you know, stint that they have.
Yeah.
But that guy's at the head of it. He's the captain for probably all of it, right? I mean, who was the captain before him?
That's a great question.
I don't think anyone has been. Yeah, right. I don't think anyone. Maybe he wasn't captain like early on, because you know I'm trying to think of the.
Sorry, I just Googled Team Canada captains, and it said Connor McDavid.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, yeah, was he not team captain for Four Nations?
No,
I think you're right.
Sid was.
I don't think he was.
Yes, he was. He wore the C.
I thought I remembered Connor McDavid.
No. He had an A. And so did McCarr. Because I guess you had to have a defenseman wear an A.
Yeah. Which makes sense. He's the best defenseman in the league.
Yeah, I mean. Who was the captain of the Four Nations? Yeah, it was Canada. And everyone said he was the obvious choice. Even Connor McDavid said that. He goes, I don't want it. It's Sid's.
Yeah.
Team captain, Josh, found it. Nope, never mind. It was Elite Prospects. Oh, no, this works. Team captain history. Was it Joe Sakic, Scott Niedermayer?
Nice. Those some solid names.
Yeah. Scott Niedermayer. Was 2009 to 2010. Wasn't it the 2010 Golden Goal? No. When was the golden
12.
goal?
12?
No, it wasn't 12. Josh, I
12?
think when was the golden
12?
goal? 08? Was it 08?
16? All right, wait, go backwards because it's next summer. It's next winter. So it's 26.
Joe Sakic.
26 minus 4, 22, 18, 14. It was 14. Golden goal was 14.
2010. It was 2010.